It's joke, no joke, no joke. Oh, you know what it is. Keep on hating. You know what it is. Choke, no joke, chicky choke, no joke. Choke, no joke, chicky choke, no joke. Shout out to all my Mexicanos. Shout out to Mexico. Shout out New York. Shout out ATL. Shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to Cali. Every part of Cali. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Great Britain, London, Germany, Ireland, Africa. Everybody that tune in to Choke No Joke worldwide, you know what it is. You know, shout out to all the states out there, all the cities. Choke No Joke, we in the building. Oh, man. I hope my moderator, his squad is on deck for this one tonight. Whack on Wood first in the building. Ramon is here. True Magic is in the building. The Jenny is here. Michelle Frizzy is here. All right. 01 Drew C in the building. C Money is here. My man Dre Barnes is in the building. CC Crippen is here. All right. Who is Nizzy in the building? Detroit is in the building. Got a new member, C Money, coming straight out of the 313. That's Detroit, Michigan, somewhere out there. Pac, all right, is in the building, 9900. Drew is in the building. All right. Choke No Joke, my man. The international Kareem Smiggity is in here. Vegas is in the building. You know how we do. All right, Versus in the building. I see you. Jim City is here. All right, Marvelous is in the building. All right. Shout out to my moderator, his squad in the building. My fellow Americans, salute to you. Choke No Joke. We in the building. Y'all know what we here for. I got a good one for y'all tonight. Boy, oh boy. The game's going to change after this one, baby. Choke No Joke. Let's get to the show. You already know.
What's going on, bro?
Yo, Cliff, what up, man? Yeah, man, I just got your call. I missed it, my bad. What's going on?
Yo, man, I got an issue, man. On everything I love, man. These kids got me tight, man. I go and I find out that both of my sons, man, is involved in some kind of gang activity, man. I work too damn hard to keep them away from that life, man, and for them to choose that, I just feel totally disrespected, man. I need you to come talk to these little niggas, man, before I just hurt one of these niggas, man.
What? Come on, man. You ain't raised them guys like that, man. You serious?
Gang life, man.
Say word.
Hey, man, I don't know. They got somebody in their ear influencing them, man, and I need you to come talk and holler at these little niggas, man, because, look, I'm at my wit's end, man.
Nah, man, I'm over there.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I'll let you in a minute.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, my nigga. One.
Yeah. DJ 2. You know what it is. Youngster, you are me. Is the reason they call me OG. I saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Hey yo, come here, man. Oh, you think I'm corny, huh? Oh, really? I see more guns than Tommy. Who's Tommy? Was I in the army? No. Nah, I got my stripes though. Now listen, broke many nights. Doing what? Pitching that white. No matter hard or soft, trust me, I'm cut from a different cloth. Now look at me, I don't knock my man off. If I gotta kill him, I step off. You know why? When you kill a trife, find yourself killing all your life. Word is bond. You have to live, little nigga. nigga, to experience life. Trust me, your mom is the one. There at the end of the night. Let's go. Youngster, you are me. Yeah. It's the reason they call me OG. Let's go. I saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason why they call me OG. Saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Come here, man. Listen, you little jerk. They gonna tell you to put in work. What? Then they gonna give you a gun. And tell you to kill someone. Who's already a op. They really want the block. Are you serious? And you gonna take the shot. And then you go to jail. What? 3 hots in a cot. 20 flat to be down with the block. No, I don't. You thought it was your beginning. Nah, that's where you stopped. They knew the outcome and didn't let you opt out. Why? To take they opt out. You the one they'll forget about. No, they won't. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason they call me OG. I saw things you didn't see. Yeah. Sit down and listen to me. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason why they call me OG. Okay. Saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason they call me OG. I saw things you didn't see. Yeah. Sit down and listen to me. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason why they call me OG. Okay. Saw things you didn't see. Now sit the fuck down and listen to me.
Choke, no joke, chicky, choke, no joke. Choke, no joke, chicky, choke, no joke. We here now. You know what it is. Instagram, I'm live on YouTube. You know, if you want to see what's on the screen over here, you don't have to. You can just stay right there because I'm going to get straight to it. But if you do and you don't know how to find me, just go on my stories. See me over there saying I'm live. Click the link. It'll bring you right to YouTube and you can come build with the people on the show, or you can stay right here. All right? It's up to you. It's the same thing, just a different platform. Marvelous, good looking. I'm glad you like that. That song's called Youngsters. Shout out to DJ Toon. He produced that joint. Shout out to my man Jack Breezy. That's where I recorded it at his studio. But it's on all platforms: Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify. Off that Learn from Mistakes Part 2, Lead the Streets. All right. For those who want to get that joint is called Youngster. All right. So what you call it? Many of y'all are here because I dropped a joint earlier today, you know, that says Hackey speaks, right? So if you don't know who Kevin Hackey is a former officer, all right, that went on to do his own security company, right? You know, I'll get to the name of that in a second. But a shout out to Hackey. You know, Hackey also worked with Frank Alexander before he passed and R.J. Bond when they did the Tupac assassination films. He's also done interviews with Nick Broomfield on the Biggie and Tupac. You know, he the one that said if him and Reggie ever ran into each other, it'll be whoever pulled a gun first. You know, that's Kevin Hackey. He's also the one that said that, you know, in 48 hours to 2 weeks, he could have the person who killed Biggie in custody, right? That's Kevin Hackey. If you saw the Biggie and Tupac documentary, you may have seen him at the Q&A with when Greg Caden tried to pop in, when he got the idea allegedly to do a documentary in the book because he was hustling and eye hustling on what they did with the Tupac assassination, right? So we all know the dirty pig, Greg Caden, you know, one of Vlad's buddies. You know, Vlad interviews all the dirty cops and all the criminals. He don't interview nobody with an objective, even when he catch or he the these criminals and dirty cops, convicted cops like Reggie Wright Jr., right, who was convicted for drug trafficking and money laundering. Vlad employs these people. He gives them podcasts. You know, he lets them come up there. They have so many inconsistencies in their story, and he don't uh, hit them with the flashback like Marv James, who went on there and said he saw them in the white Cadillac. Then he said he didn't see them in the white Cadillac. Then he said he saw them in the white Cadillac, right? He has so many inconsistencies in his story. And Vlad never said, hold on, you said you saw them in the Cadillac when Marv James went up there and said that he didn't see them. He didn't hit them with the psst and showed them himself saying that he saw them. So we know Vlad has an agenda to help the oppositions or the criminals or the crooked cops because clearly he doesn't give them any kickback on their lives. You know what I'm saying? And then he also runs around and say he solved the Tupac murder. How could he solve the Tupac murder if he's not law officer or law official, right? But he solved the Tupac murder. But y'all say he not the police. Y'all say he not the police, but he runs around saying he solved the murder. And how could he solve the murder? What did he do? Did he go out in the street and investigate to solve the murder? Or did he sit there and do the first 48 with all the guys from Compton and the crooked cops and the convicted felons like Reggie Wright Jr., right? All he did was interrogate them. But y'all say he not the police. But he say he solved the crimes and he done the investigation. He did no, he ain't do the investigation. He did the interrogation, right? But y'all say he not the police, all right? Nah, Vlad's cool. Vlad, he ain't a culture vulture. Okay, sure. But we'll see if Vlad take me up on that offer to debate me, Michael Carlin, and R.J. Bond against him, Reggie Wright Jr., and Greg Caden. Let's see if they could put that together on a neutral platform on none of our YouTubes, right? We could go on Piers Morgan. We could go somewhere else. We could do it a live debate somewhere, right? Not on none of our platforms, so we don't. Nobody say, "Oh, it's going to benefit one of us." We go to a neutral platform, 3-on-3, and let's see how much Vlad solves this and how much he can handle in person live, right? We'll wait and see if he responds, right? Let's give him a week to respond, right? And it shouldn't even take him a week unless he's like 50 Cent when it comes to Fabulous. Don't pull a 50 Cent and go run and duck and hide because you don't want none of that squatter smoke. We'll be squatting waiting. All right. So how we gonna do this tonight is shout out to my man Michael Carlin, right? Michael Carlin is very knowledgeable when it comes to the Tupac and Biggie stuff. You know, make sure you check him out on his YouTube page, right? And so what I have tonight, right, is a declaration from Kevin Hackey. the cop that I'm telling you about, right? And this is in the United States District Court for the Central District of California, right? And this was in the case of the estate of Christopher G.L. Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G, by and through his personal representatives, Faith Evans, and rest in peace, Voletta Wallace. That would be his mother. And they would be the plaintiffs versus the city of Los Angeles, right? Who would be the defendants. And this case number is 02022929 FMC RZX, right? And this is the declaration of Kevin Hackey, right? And it states as follows: I, Kevin Hackey, state and declare as follows. The facts contained herein are true of my own personal knowledge, and if called upon to testify, I could and would completely testify thereto, right? I was formerly a police officer employed with the Inglewood and Compton Unified Police Departments. I was employed as a professional police officer with the Compton Unified Police Department from October of 1987 to October of 1997. I was employed as a professional police officer trainee with the Inglewood Police Department from January of 1986 to October of 1987. I am currently the president of Beach Cities Protective Services, Inc., a private company providing consultation on security matters, as well as providing security and protective services to individuals and entities. During my career as law enforcement officer, I received substantial training in professional police investigation. While employed as a professional police officer, I also worked off duty as a professional bodyguard and security expert. In this capacity, I worked for Death Row Records and was the primary bodyguard for the recording artist Tupac Shakur. While working for Death Row Records, and particularly as the primary bodyguard for Tupac Shakur, I had extensive access to Death Row Records, the recording artist for Death Row Records, Death Row Records employees, Death Row Records associates, and the management of Death Row Records. I likewise had access to Death Row Records facilities, business meetings, travel arrangements, social functions, and video and audio recording sessions. Additionally, I had nearly unlimited opportunity to speak and interact with persons associated with Death Row Records. Additionally, by virtue of being a law enforcement officer, I, along with other involved officers, had access to areas at large public events that is denied the general public. Due to my extensive access to and acknowledge of Death Row Records and persons associated with Death Row Records, I was contacted by the FBI regarding an investigation of Death Row Records relating to racketeering, money laundering, trafficking, and controlled substances, and engaging in violent crimes. In March of 1996, I agreed to act undercover for the FBI to obtain information and sources valuable to their investigation. At considerable risk to my own safety, I provided the FBI information regarding Death Row Records, persons associated with Death Row Records, and the actions associated with Death Row Records. The Los Angeles Police Department knew of my association with Death Row Records, as well as the cooperation and information I had provided to the FBI. At all times, I remain willing and available to provide information to the LAPD. During 1993 and 1997 timeframe, there was there was significant animosity and conflict between East Coast hip hop record labels and West Coast hip hop record labels. This predominantly manifested itself as a conflict between Bad Boy Entertainment of New York and Death Row Records of California. In my capacity as a police officer, I knew that this conflict was a well known in the law enforcement community and was specifically known by the LAPD, which would be the Los Angeles Police Department. I knew this because I was privy to and involved with law enforcement intelligence exchanges between LAPD crash detail, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Operation Safe Street, the Compton Police Department Gang Task Force, and the Los Angeles Crime Impact Unit. The Crime Impact Unit is and was a multi-jurisdictional force involving, but not limited to, the above agencies. Generally, every involved police agency has 2 or 3 officers assigned to this detail for intelligence gathering and dissemination. The Los Angeles Police Department was investigating crimes associated with the East Coast West Coast conflict and had intimate knowledge that this conflict posed a risk of harm to recording artists and posed a specific risk to Christopher Wallace. I knew this because the Crime Impact Unit that I was involved with was aware of and discussed both Christopher Wallace's trip to Los Angeles and the potential danger and risk factor involved based upon the known East Coast West Coast rivalry. On September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur was shot in Las Vegas, Nevada. Death Row Records and persons associated with Death Row Records blamed Bad Boy. Blamed Bad Boy Entertainment and Christopher Wallace specifically for the murder. Statements were made by multiple persons that Christopher Wallace and Bad Boy Entertainment should be made to pay for the death of Tupac Shakur. As an example, in or about September of 1996, I was with Reggie Wright at the Can-Am Studios in Tarzana. At this time, Reggie Wright said, "We are going to get the mother effers who down Pac," meaning Tupac Shakur in parentheses, mother effing Biggie and his crew. It was clearly known by law enforcement agencies that this need for retribution expressed by persons associated with Death Row Records posed a significant risk of harm to Christopher Wallace. The Los Angeles Police Department was aware of the fact that Christopher Wallace had been blamed for the murder of Tupac Shakur and that physical harm could result to Christopher Wallace as a result of the animosity engineered by the claim that Christopher Wallace was to blame for the murder of Tupac Shakur. I know they were aware because based upon the intelligence exchange between the cooperating police agencies and the multi-jurisdictional crime impact unit. Additionally, at the time of his death, Christopher Wallace was a very prominent recording artist in the hip hop industry with top selling albums. Death Row Records had a financial interest in eliminating Christopher Wallace as competition in the recording industry. This economic motivation was well known by local law enforcement departments in the Los Angeles Police Department specifically. I was aware of this because this subject was also known by and discussed by members of the Crime Impact Unit. More specifically, I discussed these very issues, excuse me, with FBI agent Dan McMullen and John Ciccidion. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's Ciccione, with the ATF in or about April of 1996. The LAPD was also aware that I informed Bill Hodgman of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office at a meeting held between November 17th and 25th of 1996. During my tenure with Death Row Records, I became aware of narcotics trade associated with Death Row Records. This, in part, was the reason I was acting as an informant for the FBI. While I did not personally observe drug trafficking transactions, I did provide the FBI valuable information relating to the investigation in this regard, including information, photographs, dates, times, and firearms. Death Row Records and its affiliated street gangs used off-duty law enforcement officers, including multiple Los Angeles police officers, to act as security personnel. More specifically, the involved affiliated street gangs were the Bloods and the Crips. Very few of these officers were actual employees of Death Row Records. Rather, these officers acted in the capacity of informal agents serving as information sources and lookouts. While I do not know many of the specific names in the Los Angeles police officers, While I do not know many of the specific names of the Los Angeles police officers involved, I do recall an LAPD officer named Love, who I believe his first name was David. Of course, LAPD officer Kevin Gaines was working death row security at the time, and LAPD officers Rafael Perez and David Mack were commonplace fixtures at death row functions and activities. The involvement of police officers with death row records and its affiliated gangs, including Los Angeles police officers, was well known to the Los Angeles Police Department as well as other law enforcement agencies. Although normally police officers associate with one another in group settings, this general rule was not followed at death row. Despite this knowledge, I know of no widespread investigation into off-duty officers' conduct associated with death row records and its affiliated street gangs. Law enforcement officers, including Los Angeles police officers, were chosen to associate and work for death row records and its affiliated street gangs because of their positions as law enforcement officers. The officers' authority, relationships to other officers, ability to deflect investigations and inquiries, and the officers' access to police communication and information was the precise reason they were chosen to provide security and other services to death row records and its affiliated street gangs. Without the power given to them as police officers and without the authority and access to information they had as police officers, they would not have been chosen. They would not have been chosen. A police officer's official capacity allowed the police officers to intervene in situations involving other responding police officers, have access to information regarding police deployments, police schedules, police surveillance, police communications, police personnel, and police evidence. Additionally, as off duty police officers, they would be able to carry firearms. These off duty police officers served as lookouts and were able to assist Death Row Records and its associates in avoiding police contact. This was made possible solely because of their authority as law enforcement officers. During my association with Death Row Records, I had occasion to observe Los Angeles police officer David Mack at numerous Death Row Records functions that were reserved for close associates of Death Row Records. I personally observed David Mack to be present at a Death Row Records Christmas party. I personally observed David Mack and Rafael Perez to be present and in the company of Death Row Records associates in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada in May or June of 1996. They were present at both Mike Tyson boxing match as well as a nightclub owned by Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight. I personally observed David Mack at an MTV event called Toss It Up in the company of Death Row Records associates. I personally observed David Mack in the company of Death Row Records associates at the Black Image Awards in 1995. I observed him shake hands with Suge Knight at this event. Los Angeles police officer David Mack had access to Death Row Records and persons associated with Death Row Records at the highest level. The functions at which I observed the Los Angeles police officer David Mack suggested to me Death Row Records had a substantial amount of trust in the Los Angeles police officer David Mack, and that Mr. Mack was associated at the highest level with Death Row Records. During my association with Death Row Records, I had occasion to observe Los Angeles police officer Kevin Gaines at numerous Death Row Record functions. The Los Angeles Police Department had contact with Officer Gaines, and it was well known Officer Gaines was associated with Death Row Records. I know this because LAPD Internal Affairs was undertaking an investigation of Gaines in or about September of 1995 or January of 1996. At this time, Officer Gaines was regularly coming to work in a new BMW and Mercedes. In fact, one of his cars had a personalized license plate that read, "It's okay, IA," referring to the LAPD Internal Affairs. In fact, in March of 1996, I personally discussed this specific investigation with Dan McCullen of the FBI. Dan McCullen of the FBI. Based on my experience as a law enforcement officer, any thorough investigation of Officer Gaines would clearly have provided information regarding David Mack's involvement with Death Row Records as well as other officers' involvement. It was well known that Los Angeles police officer David Mack was a covert agent for Death Row Records. It was also well known by LAPD that Mac was working with Death Row. In fact, in early 1996, I specifically discussed Mac's involvement with Death Row with FBI agent Dan McMullian and ATF agent John Sicillon. David Mack was in this position as a result of the color of his authority as a Los Angeles police officer and had access to to information and communications at that position entailed. I have given numerous statements to the Los Angeles Police Department regarding the murder of Christopher Wallace and law enforcement involvement in that murder. 2 days after the murder of Christopher Wallace, I was approached by and interviewed by investigators for the Los Angeles Police Department. They informed me that numerous confidential informants led them to me and said I would be the best one to give information concerning the murder. I informed them that I had personal knowledge regarding the murder of Christopher Wallace and would provide this information to them. I told them I have personal knowledge that persons within Death Row Records offered $25,000 to a law enforcement officer to have Christopher Wallace murdered. This offer was made to a law enforcement officer because his position in law enforcement would facilitate the murder. I offered to the LAPD that I would deliver the murderer of Christopher Wallace and asked that they put me in touch with the district attorney's office. Although I offered to cooperate fully and felt confident that I could identify the murderer, LAPD Detective Fred Miller told me, "We will not have a has-been like you solve one of the biggest crimes in LA. How would that make us look?" To my knowledge, no follow-up was done by the Los Angeles Police Department to investigate the information I gave them. Despite my offer to provide information regarding the murder of Christopher Wallace to the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles Police Department took no steps to secure the information in my possession. Based upon my knowledge I obtained in my position with Death Row Records, David Mack was involved with the murder of Christopher Wallace. It is my further understanding David Mack's involvement in the murder of Christopher Wallace was directly a result of his color of authority as a police officer and his access to sensitive police information. The journalist Chuck Phillips was frequently at Death Row Records functions and received payments from Death Row Records. I told the LAPD that David Kenner gave Donald Ray the money to defend Mack. This was in 2000. I declare under under penalty of perjury that all of the above is true and correct. Executed on June 6, 2004 in Los Angeles, California. Kevin Hackey, and he signs it. And once again, shout out to my man Michael Carlin. As you can see, that's where it's signed at. Right? Now, all I'm doing is reading the declaration. You can take it for whatever it's worth. And with that being said, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. Choke no joke, you already know. 100.
Coast, put it up. No palm tree, the trees and the palms of dealers and fiends. Late night roam the streets. Weed is weaker, but it's cheaper. Not many chicks frontin' like divas. Out west, every chick's a model like Eva, and you know I'm far from believing her. So I'm G'ing her like she G'ing me. Banging in LA is a different thing. At the end, you either dead on the bang, getting out, doing better things. On Sunset, where they hang. Hollywood, where they hustle for change. Times Square here, it's the same. No matter where you go, you'll find a lane. On the west, they kick it with Kane. On the east, trees, the social thing. East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your glasses, take a toast. If you rap, East Coast. When I'm on the west and I'm doing my thing, don't offer me coke or your nose I bang. Friends don't offer other deadly things. Thanks for the hospitality, we'll still hang. I won't judge you, leave me as I came. On the road to success, top of the game. Eat all the finer things in the food chain. Teach my kids to do the same. Whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your glasses, take a toast. If you rap, East Coast. Gotta love life and offer wonderful things. Being to travel is a privileged thing. Came back to the east, air wasn't fresh. Streets filled with trash, various people in the eye. It's easy to tell who's upper middle class. Police and racism, same as crash. Back to where they not social, where they less vocal. When they don't know you, be careful, show you around the East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, East Coast, whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Pop your bottles and toss the cork. If you rap, West Coast. Both coasts are known to give you fame. Got paparazzi playing cameras your way. Got you bobbing and weaving like Cassius Clay. Most thugs turn Muslim in older days. Change their name to Allah they pray. Probably till they decay. This go out to the east and west. For Big and Pop, y'all let's connect. Whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, West Coast. Whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. You can't get the West without the ES. So it's manifested that we connect. You know what it is. Choke no joke, learn from mistakes, baby. You know what it is. Greg on the track. Rest in peace, baby. Either war, we here now. You know what it is. Choke no joke. Yeah. It's choke no joke. Let's go. Choke no joke. Chicken choke no joke. Choke no joke.